I read 5 books in the month of July, and it was a very enriching month of reading. So let's talk about the books that I read and if I think you should read them. First is a book called Among the Thugs by Bill Buford, and I think you should read this because this is a book about football, but not really about football. This book sees an American journalist go over to England during the high period of hooliganism and follows around a bunch of Manchester United hooligans and really dives deep into the violence and chaos of this particular movement of fans. It's a really wild story. Next, I read Red Notice by Bill Browder, and this is a must read for anybody interested in sort of high finance, oligarchy, and modern Russia after the fall of the Soviet Union, and one man's quest to go right up against corruption and what happens when you do that. And Bill Browder is still talking about this today, so it's a really interesting story and very relevant even today. I also read The Crusaders by Dan Jones, and this was my first Dan Jones book, and it will not be my last. I was sucked into this book immediately, and I have to say, I may not have grasped everything that I was reading because this is a brand new topic to me. I've never read anything about it before, nor have I watched a documentary about the Crusades before, but it was just a really compelling read because of the way that he writes history. So I will definitely be jumping into more that he's written because I'm very excited to read history from somebody who writes this well. I followed that up with a book called The Silence of Girls by Pat Baker. And I've been eyeing this book since I saw it when I went to Greece a couple of years ago because I really wanted to read a little bit of Greek mythological historical fiction. This delivered on some fronts, but didn't deliver on all fronts. And I don't know if I would say that you should read it. I'm certain there's better Greek mythological books out there in terms of historical fiction. This is one of the first that I've read. So if you've read better ones, let me know in the comments. And if this was one of your favorites, tell me that in the comments too. I want to know, maybe I should reread it. And the final book that I was able to squeeze in July was a book called How Soccer Explains the World by Franklin Foer. And this is another one of those football books, not about football, barely talks about football, barely talks about tactics or scores or anything like that. It ties together an unlikely theory of globalization, a series of essays from different parts of the world explaining globalization through the eyes of these countries and the sport itself. That's what I read in July. I learned a lot in July and I had a lot of fun reading all of these books. Let me know what your favorite read of July was. And if you like hearing about books like this, drop me a follow. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the comments.